Hi folks, welcome back to my video series. My name is Lai. In today's sessions, we are going to look into how to set up a Veeam Hardened Linux repositories. So when I talk about Linux repositories, means in today's sessions, we are going to look into everything in command line, right? So in order for you to set up this, the best thing is you need to learn about how to use Linux, right? In order for you to set up a hardened Linux repositories, all right? The reason why we're going to learn about this is because there's a lot of feedbacks from the partners and also customers about how to set up this from beginning until the end. So to fulfill all the your requests, so therefore I come up with this video, and hopefully you will not get bored, especially on looking on all the commands, right? So without further ado, what I have in my environment is I already set up a Ubuntu repositories. Okay, it's already pre-installed with Ubuntu, and inside here it consists of multiple of these, whereby we're going to use it to store our backup data, right? Let's have a look at it. First and foremost, I'm going to check the disk first, right? So from here, you're able to see that I set up the operating system with 50 GB, and then the operating system detected how many disks inside there, and it start to uh, allocate some of the disks as well, right? For you to use it on your this particular Linux repo, right? So from here, I also added a new disk, so it's represented as a dev/sdb. So here we are going to put 350 GB just for the sake of demo purpose, right? First thing, before we start to use this particular 350 GB, we need to do a partition first. So I'm just going to put it here, okay? And then I'm going to assign a label, and we are going to put it as GPT because the disk that we are allocate is more than 2 GB. So we're just going to put it as GPT. Then I'm going to make it a primary partition. So I will use the size of 0 GB and up to the maximum of 350 GB, right? So once you're done, it will mention as parted. That means the partition is already created. Then I will quit this, right? Then the next thing will be I need to format this particular disk before I start to use it. So since we are going to set up a hardened Linux repo, so what we are going to do is we are going to use it as a FLS, okay, file system. So you can leveraging on the fast cloning, right? So let's start with okay, make a file systems FLS, right? And then I'm going to assign the size of allocations of 4K, right? And then length equal to 1, right? And then CLC equal to 1 and point it to SDB, right? Then I'm going to pause it, right? So I already formatted as the FFS file system. The next thing is I'm going to do mounting. So what I'm going to do before I do mounting, I need to create a directory. So I'm just going to call it as repo. And at this moment, my repo will be located in this particular path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it dev to sdb, right, to home /liys/repo, right? So this is the path whereby we're going to mount it to the 350 GB. Right. Once we've done that, you can view, check the mount point. So from here, if you double check on it, so DEV/SDB is already mounted as a XFS file system. The size is 350 GB, and this is the path. All right. So we have done that. The next thing is, this is just a temporary. So every time you restart the machine, the mount point will be disappear. So in order for the particular mount point to be effective and permanent, this is where we are going to put it into the FS demo. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to put a VI. Right. So then press I to insert, and we are going to put it at the back. Right. So from here, I'm going to put it like this, SDB, and then point it to the path, line/repo, right? File system, XFS, and then I put it default and 0.0. Okay, save it. All right. Once we're done that, the next thing will be we want to use a non-root credential, right? So the first thing is we are going to create a new user. All right. So let's add user called Veeam. All right. Okay, we created a non-root called Veeam. The next thing is we need to create a group. Okay, we're going to assign it to for the user as well. So I'm going to create, sorry, before that, I need to enter the password. Password doesn't match, try again. Yes, okay, try again. Okay, full name, Veeam, demo. Room, forget it. Okay, done, press yes. Right, so we created a user, we assign a password. The next thing is we need to create a group. Right, so let's create a group, and we are going to call it a Spring group. Okay, next is we are going to add this particular user into the group. Right, so we're going to assign the group name first, Spring group, and the user is called Veeam. Right, done. And if we try to query the group of the Veeam user, okay, so the Veeam user is located, is belong to the group of called Veeam group, right? Once you have done that, the next thing will be we are going to set what we call permission. So we are going to assign a read credential for the user and the group name to the path. Sorry, you need to add a sudo in front. So sudo. Okay. Once you have done that, we are going to set permissions to 700, right, to this path. Okay. So once you have done that, the next thing will be let's remote into the Veeam backup server, right? Okay, let's move to the Veeam backup server. All right, add the server, and the IP address will be 1.138. Okay, Hardens repo 3. Then when you add the credential, make sure you select single use credential for hardened repositories. Okay, so the password will not store into the Veeam backup service. Okay, so we're going to put this. So remember just now we created Veeam, enter the password. Then we're going to give SU as well. Okay, root credentials. When you click next, it will definitely give you an error. Okay, trust this server, yes. Right. So it will give you this error because you're currently using a Veeam user which does not have any right. So therefore, when we try to push the Veeam transport and also the data mover into the server, it needs a sudo credential. Right. So how do we solve this? This will be what we're going to do is let's back to the terminal. So when you back to the terminal, the next thing will be you need to add temporarily the user uh, into the sudo group. All right. So let's add a sudo for the Veeam. All right. So once we're done that, let's try to add again. So by right now, the wizard should be able to pass through. Click apply, it will start to deploy. All right. Because we already assigned a temporary a sudo groups to the Veeam user, so it allow them to deploy uh, the transport, the Veeam transport, and also data movers into the repo servers. So once this is done, we are going to remove the user from the sudo group, right? Okay, take note on that. Remember to use the single use credential and make sure you are not using a root credential. So by right, you're supposed to create a non-root credential to make sure that your this particular repo is secure, right, from any possible attacks into the server as well, right? Okay, we're almost done. Okay, once we are done, click next, and let's get finished, right? So once you are added in, so this is your managed hardened Linux repo. So what we're going to do is let's back to the terminal, and we are going to remove this particular user from the sudo group. Okay, done. So that means this user will back as a normal user, right? So it will not have the sudo groups. Let's have a look at it. Yep, it only belongs to the Veeam group. Okay, once we have done that, next thing is we are going to proceed to add the backup repo. So I'm going to attach direct attach storage, select Linux, and this is going to be dr repo 3. Okay, let's put harder. Next, and this is the server. Let's click populate, right? And it will be able to display this one. So this is the path whereby you configure your target where you want to put your backup data. Let's click next. Okay, populate. You indicate the size 350 GB. This is the one that we provision. And then we are going to use a fast clone technology from XFS. And then we are going to make the backup data protected, okay, object lock immutable for 7 days, right? Next, proceed. And then point to the backup server. Next, apply. Right, so it will take a while, and then you will add this as your Linux hardened repositories. Right? Next, there you go. Well, it's not that difficult. So from here, you're able to, on this particular video, I already teach you on how to configure and set up a hardened Linux repositories. Okay, some key takeaways to recap: always use a non-root credential to connect to your backup repositories. Assign a proper permissions, okay, to your particular users and the group, and also the path of your backup data. And then once you have done that, you're able to easily add by using the Veeam console. Okay, from here you're able to add your Veeam hardened repositories. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much, and hopefully you enjoy my sessions. Please stay tuned for my next upcoming video.